And welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the hardest career series. Today's episode we're going to be testing the KV-22, which is a Kerbalized version of the OV-22 and also known as the Osprey, which is a VToL propellered aircraft. Now, this is the aircraft I mentioned in the previous episode, where we're having problems with the servos that connect the engine pods to the wings. I'm hoping I've solved the issue, so we'll head to the aircraft hangar, take a very quick look around the aircraft, and then we shall head out to the runway and we shall try and see if I've solved the issue by test flying it. Okay, so this is the KVX for experimental 22. So we've got, this is basically the aircraft itself is one we've already used before. This is the VToL that we used for the TMA missions, the final two I believe. We had to parachute our supplies in from the cargo bay at the back here. So all I've actually done is added some bleeding edge or trailing edge flaps and roll control. I've got the servos just there. Well, these servos have proved to be rather problematic when trying to use them like this. There is no strength in them until you actually lock them, and a lot of times what will happen when you're actually moving the servo from this position to horizontal position to switch from translation from horizontal to vertical flight or hovering, or vice versa, the servos lose all their strength because you can't lock them again. It just says the servo's still moving when it's actually not. It's actually in a stationary position. So that's rather awkward. Now, I've not been able to solve that issue. I'm hoping I've solved the issue this time, as I've already said. So that is basically it. It is the VToL we've already used, with the engine pods with translational control provided through the servo, and some controls on the trailing edge of the wing. Okay, let's head out to the runway. We shall test the one we've got right now, see if it flies. We're trying to hover first. If it's stable, we'll try some horizontal flight. Okay, so out at the runway. So I'm going to demonstrate exactly the issue. I'm hoping it won't actually sort of show itself this time with the servos. I'm hoping I've solved it, but if I haven't, then I'm open to suggestions. Okay, let's try and hover first. Okay. 25% throttle. Turn the brakes off. Okay. Because we've got wings, we may get translational lift, but normally it's quite stable. For some reason it's leaning over that way. 395. Seems to be okay there. Yeah, it's got to either get the ramp up. There we go. It's a bit silly. Try and pitch forward a little bit. Obviously we don't want it to be like a helicopter, we want it to be like well, the Osprey basically, the OV-22, but we have definitely got some, well, some issues. Try and create that roll. So you don't have a great deal of control in a hover. That's the biggest issue. So if you do become unstable in a hover, you tend to sort of take quite a while to get back to a stable point. Because these are not helicopter engines, they are propeller engines. There we go, that's better. Okay, so the parts are locked. So I'm going to unlock them. You see them bouncing just then. Let's see it translate. Okay, so they're not translating, so it's not being solved. One is going... is that going forward slightly? Looks like it's actually angled forward slightly, but the other one's vertical. Might have been safer to try this on the ground. Yeah, so it's being told to go 277 degrees, which is directly ahead. But they're just not working. Motors engaged, locked no. So that's fine. But for some reason, well, they've gone to non-symmetry. Now I've fitted these in symmetry in the aircraft hangar, but for some reason they've switched that off. So that's clever as well, isn't it? That's great. I've built this before using MSI's robotic parts, the Infernal Robotics parts pack. But these are the breaking ground servos, so they're not very good, are they? Okay, so that's 90 degrees. No. It just does not want to work. They've got a 50 kilonewton per meter stress limit, but I can't see them being anything like those. Just sat there doing nothing. Very strange. Let's bring the flaps down. Now I've got uncontrollable yaw. That's because this engine has switched slightly. It's pitched over slightly in a few degrees, and this one hasn't. It's stayed vertical. So that's not very good. So unfortunately that's a KVX-22. This is what I've been struggling with all this time. I've been at this for quite a few weeks in the background. I just cannot get the servos to actually pitch over. And when they do, they tend to jelly and the engines break off, or one of the engines break off, at which point you've got the whole thing spirals down into the ocean. Because normally I'd try this over the ocean, not over ground. Yep, just will not stop doing that now. Got a choice. Do we try and land this? Or do we eject? I think by the way it's doing this, we could maybe get a little bit lower. Try and belly flop it down. So it's quite an expensive piece of kit. I don't really like the idea of losing it. Yeah, so it says servo is moving. Okay, we lost it. Eject. Eject. Oh, don't land on the aircraft hangar. Oh. Phew, just missed. And that is exactly what seems to keep happening. We get one engine slightly tilts over. And the other one stays exactly where it should, well, exactly where it shouldn't be actually. It just stays vertical, or vice versa. If we start off in horizontal position, we can't move into vertical position, but one of them moves slightly up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that is. But, you're right there, Jeb. Yeah, no signs. Never mind. Come on, wake up, Jeb. You're not that bad, Jeb. Okay, so any suggestions? Any information whatsoever about the servos? How on earth do you get them to work? Greatly appreciated. Ew. He's still not got a shave, has he? God, what a scruffy devil. Okay, pretty much a disastrous test flight, just like the previous, well, several, shall we say. A bit of a nasty mess there. Nearly lost Jeb. Was for the ejection seat, which I fitted in the hangar at the last minute. So I've got some bits to recover. Just I'll do those in a minute. Okay, that's rather disappointing. But if you have got information, I've looked around and I don't seem to have to find anyone who can actually suggest anything how to actually solve the issue with the servos going from vertical to horizontal and then back again. So if you start from vertical like that and try and translate over into horizontal, it does that. If you try and go from horizontal takeoff to vertical landing, it does exactly the same thing again. They just will not move. I've had them moving, but then they become all weak and they won't lock. And then the engines snap off, or one of the engines snap off, which we do exactly what happened there. They spiraled out of control. So I don't know how to actually solve that. As I said, if you have any information or suggestions on what I can try, I will definitely listen to any suggestions you have. So they are greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, that's all I've got time for today. The next test flight, I'm going to test this Hawk Mark II, which has got an improved supersonic, an actual dedicated supersonic jet engine attached to it. So I'm going to test that in the next episode. Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to click like. It is appreciated. Also, if you do enjoy the content, clicking the subscribe button is also very much appreciated, as is sharing. Sharing does help the channel grow, and it's extremely appreciated. Also, don't forget we have Discord, Facebook and Twitter. You find links to all three of those platforms on the banner front page of the channel. Alright, once again, thank you for watching. Got to in the very next episode when we get to grips with the Hawk Mark II jet trainer. In the meantime, as always, take care. Bye-bye.